knowing he's going to appoint one of his assistant DAs. And once he gets that figured out, he said he was going to send you another letter also. And once he gets that all settled out, he's going to, the assistant and him are going to come over to DPW and talk with Scott and I to get things so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
So,
good.
I don't know if it'll be better or worse or what, but...
Well, there hasn't been anything for a while,
right.
So anything's better than nothing.
I mean, we don't do a lot of them. We basically try and scare everybody into doing what we want to. So we'll see. We do have a couple things. Well, one thing really before the court right now. So we've been pretty good. You know, we've been asking people to do stuff, and they've been doing it. So.
Well, if the DA starts calling, then I really get scared.
Maybe.
True.
Anything else for Jeff? Can't think of anything. Oh, I guess one little thing. I was in my announcement section where Jeff signs off with his dog. They're organizing a cleanup day. And by they, I mean, I told him, Weitzman's is sponsoring it, putting up a bunch of money, and Rich Pertel is from the community, helping out organize it. It is October 3rd. So there's information on our website. We didn't get a ton of projects. So one thing that they're doing is putting, hey Jeff, they decided I think on 4 dumpsters. So 4 locations of dumpsters for people to bring stuff to, whatever you want, metal, garbage, whatever.
The only problem that we're going to have is no TVs or electronics. Somehow we're going to have to get that point across.
I know we talked, we had a call last week with the crew organizing this, and they may staff somebody at each dumpster to kind of police it.
Now, is there an organizing site for any volunteers?
Oh, yes. The Weitzman's Yard on Main Street, like the parking lot there.
What time?
It's on here, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. we close.
If somebody gets a chance, could they clean the alleyway behind Lake Street from the, not our office, but the Clark County Probation Office, all the way down through there? There's an alley. I mean, there's moss growing in the middle. It looks like a cigarette graveyard through there.
Yeah.
It would take 20-30 minutes for the couple guys with a blower. And
so we do have volunteers with no projects. So
that's a project.
Bring that
That'd
up.
be a good project. It would be nice to see it.
Are there any other suggestions by Jeff?
No, not really. I don't think so.
Okay.
One quick question. I don't know where I thought I read someplace that the dumpsters were going to be different things in different dumpsters. Is there something along that line?
So each location will have a trash dumpster and a metal dumpster.
Okay. But so it's not like 4 different kinds of things.
No, we just try to spread them around so people didn't have to haul their stuff, too far.
You've got to keep the people out of the metal dumpsters.
So the metal dumpsters will be picked up October 3rd, like at 3:30 p.m. The trash dumpsters will pick up like the next day.
Well, how's the public going to learn about this?
Well, we're going to do some press
Radio station?
releases, Facebook, it's on the website. I'm supposed to get on WEVO and stuff like that.
You're going to put a list of items that are no dumps for the dumpsters? Which way people can't play ignorant?
Yeah, we should come up with that list.
Like tires, batteries,
Yeah, TVs,
pests are on the list.
computers.
Is the village sponsoring this, or is this just like Weitzman's is doing it, and then they are giving the village a heads up that this is going on, and you've kind of coordinated with it, but it's
Right.
Weitzman's project.
Right.
So presumably his group will be doing all those things.
Yeah, and actually, Steve and Donnelly, their PR, and I made the signs and everything. So.
Can you ask them to, since they have help of the Donnellys and stuff, could you ask them to include in that document where you can dispose of tires and electronics and stuff like that, so that we're, giving them good advice where they can take it?
Just see it to next year's tire bill.
And when,
Yep. That's good information anyway. I know I've been trying to erase some computers, and apparently you can take them to a pack and ship, which used to be in the building that close.
Computers are outdated in 6 months.
Yeah,
It's still gold.
you got to buy them. But anyway, they were recycling. I didn't know that until I on Facebook. Okay. Anything else for Jeff? So Jeff graciously volunteered to help out with the cleanup day of his crew, so thank you, Jeff.
Criminal Service Department.
Police?
Yeah, police, yeah.
So is it, I assume, yes, that it's appropriate for me to talk about the buying of the police cars here, and we don't do that in the executive or anything, we're gonna do that.
Yeah, no, we do that here.
Okay.
And Joe's not on, so.
That's what it is.
You're now the police commissioner.
I will be. So the police chief has, through his various connections, has set up an opportunity for us to purchase some vehicles. He needs more police vehicles. He has, we believe, $30-some thousand in police reserve for vehicles. The Vestal Police Department has offered us, the opportunity to purchase 2 Chevy Tahoes. I don't know if you guys got this on email or anything, but it doesn't have. 2 Chevy Tahoes. They are 2018s. They have, I think, 70 to 80,000 miles on each one. They have all the equipment on them, all those whistles, all the equipment, that's either $10,000 worth of stuff on them. They will sell those to us for $16,000 each. They just sold a 2017 at auction with 118,000 miles for 15.6 plus buyer's premium, about 16 and a half. They will do this for us, and we can't right now buy a new police car because the factors there just not available. They're $40,000 plus 10 on top of them. Tahoe is probably a good vehicle for us because all-wheel drive is a big thing, has a lot of utility, and we don't use them a lot, so we don't drive the crap out of them, we just drive them around this village. That being said, I believe that I'm going to be making a motion that we allow the police chief, we purchase the 2 Chevy Tahoes for $16,000 each. I will ask in the middle of this, do we have any glitch about, sometimes we can't spend more than $20,000 without a bid here or something there?
In this case, you can do this because purchasing surplus or second-hand equipment from another municipality, you can do that without competitively bidding.
Okay.
What about using the reserve?
If you're going to use a reserve account, then that motion would be subject to permissive referendum, I believe.
But I don't think this is a standard reserve account, this police reserve, is it that?
If it's an actual real
Is it the
reserve
budget?
account, then you would need to be treating it, the motion would just be subject to permissive referendum. So Ron publishes something in the paper,
Okay.
giving people 30 days to count it. But to Fran's point, if you are putting money into the police reserve this fiscal year,
Yeah.
and that's enough money to just pay for this.
That's not enough money, but between that and what we have kind of carried over, I have enough money.
So you don't need to use the
I
reserve.
don't think we need to use it.
This is not a reserve then, this would be something
It's
else.
a budgeted item, right?
Well, we can use the allocated reserve.
I'll use the allocated reserve, which has, I don't know, it's normally we have 8 or 10,000. How much is it?
15.
15, then I'll take the other 15 out of the encumbered money that we're going to do next time.
Mike, you were telling me you thought that, looking at the treasurer report, we had 22.
Second item
There's
there.
22 in the reserve account.
22 under reserve.
But if we use reserve, we gotta wait 30 days to get it.
Okay, we don't want to do that. Well, we have.
But there's 15,000
So we have-
this budget year going
We have
into.
$15,000 that we have not put in reserve.
Okay.
We can take that 15,000 and take whatever difference is out of the end of the year carry. If you'd like to do that. So
Because-
so then we don't touch his reserve, which he
Okay,
has.
that would be what we want to do if we can, because we don't want this to get away, and we don't want Russell to just decide to take these to auction and get $40,000 for them.
In his total reserve, he has 22,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
He'll still have 22, the 15 won't be going in there.
okay,
He'll be using that to purchase these.
Right.
And our end of year money, we'll have it covered, and we'll take care of that.
okay. So, I'm going to move that we purchase two 2018 Chevy Tahoes from Russell Surplus for our police department. Is that enough?
I think you want to just reference authorizing the budget.
I'm going to put a price number in there too.
Yeah.
At a price not to exceed $35,000.
I'll second that.
Works. This should be a straight 32.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be a single extra nickel.
I'll put up to.
Yep.
Well, you got registration.
35.
Well, that's after that. We get But just because there's always a good chance saying up to 35.
He's got a letter and stuff like that, so when the, you know, what I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
nipples
gonna
and
be
stuff like that.
Up to 35 should cover it. That gives us actually $3,000.
minor costs, because they come with all the lights and sirens and
They
radios.
need to be repainted, right?
All of that stuff is not buying them. That's a different thing.
Outfitting.
So I mean, did someone
Doesn't have on their vest the police department?
Yeah, there's
None of that is the buying of these. That's all after the fact. Any of those
What we're seeing on the vehicles.
So do you want to change it back to 32 and forget about it?
I want it to be up to 35 just in case there's something
you
strange.
never know, registration.
We always try to do a little.
Oh, so we got a motion.
Ron, second.
Ron second. Okay, any discussion on the trucks? Vote on Fran,
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes.
That's mostly what we have. We are negotiating, your negotiating, our negotiating committee is working with the PBA on the new contract. It's slow.
Yeah.
But we do it.
Put it in my report, next meeting is October 14th.
That's everything for police.
Department head reports, what we got next?
Since I had the only agenda,
I know.
the EMS billing rate at the customer was high.
All right, so everybody get this?
Now we're talking EMS bill.
Okay.
Did you get this, Rusty?
I did that.
All right, so we had a
Thank
meeting, we had a meeting with,
Does somebody have a copy for us?
I have a copy here, but I want to read it. We had a meeting with Robin and Fran and myself. We go over what we charge now, and then look at averages in the area, and see how our billing rates align. Probably should be a thing we do every year, because obviously, medical bills change a lot of money. So there's all these different categories that everybody probably remembers the paper we fill in, right? So I'll read them all. BLS non-emergency was 600. Proposed change is 800.
You go slow on this mic, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
BLS emergency, so that's when you call 911. Was 800. Proposed 1200. ALS 1. Sneeze when they sneeze. Non-emergency, it was 900. Proposed 1200. Yeah, what that one. Got the COVID one there.
Okay, we're all leaving.
Alright, ALS 1 emergency
Quarantine together.
was 1,200, proposed 1,500. ALS 2 was 1,400, proposed 2,100. ALS interface, which is our ALS personnel and other ambulance, was 600, proposed 800. Our mileage rate, you have to remember this is only loaded mileage, so it's one way, was 27 and proposed 30. And then treat and release surcharge, so that's if the ambulance shows up and doesn't take anywhere, was 200, proposed 250. And then, what's that?
Is that a change?
Yeah, $50. Proposed.
Just asking what they think about how
You might get 200
Charles.
or 400, we're getting there. So ALS treat and release was 400, proposed 450. And then bariatric surcharge proposed no changes on there.
It's for larger people.
I got the email and there was 2 attachments. One of them was this one that you just read everything off of, and then there was another one when I opened it up, there wasn't anything. Did I miss anything?
I don't know, well, Paul tried to scan it, man, I don't know what he scanned it.
So
This-
just
this
like
was the
send me a
correct one.
copy of.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
this all,
I would propose that I would move that we accept the new billing rates for BLS, non-emergency 800, emergency 1200, for ALS 1, non-emergency 1200, emergency 1500, for ALS 2, 2100, ALS interface 800, for mileage it to be at $30, for ALS 2 optional treat and release surcharge 250, optional treat and release surcharge ALS only at 450, and then the bariatric surcharge to be $100.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion on the rates?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
No, just remind me, so where are we now? You guys did all your work and you looked at it. Where are we as for the other?
We're still above the high.
Well, we're below that.
no, we're below the
Yeah, I
high.
mean, still below, excuse me, still below.
This all got brought to a head because my husband been by one agency and then by our agency. Okay, so therefore, I had comparisons to go with, okay, as to what the other agencies are charging, which sent off the ding-ding, let's get another reset and see, we got an anonymous list.
I just want to know where this is in the
Well,
big scheme of things.
it's not, it's just that now there's a very high, and the person that we were comparing to is the second highest. But we didn't want to do anything near that. Because that our original goal was to be as, set it low and see where we had to go. So now we're definitely more congeal on being the same as the local, but still at a lower set. There was literally $400 and $500 differences between agencies that are local. So we didn't want to go to that extreme, so we held it back.
So are we at the bottom of the local?
We're probably
80% maybe?
mid,
One of you just tell me.
mid to equal to the second highest. So we're like,
This is not kidding me, son. Well, we're mid equal to the second highest.
Yes.
Okay.
well, we're comparable with the second highest one in the area,
Okay.
but we're not as much. We're like probably 100 to 150 below theirs.
Yeah, for each thing.
Now, these increases in rate will really only affect insurance
Private.
companies and auto insurance. I mean, Medicare and Medicaid,
Well,
they set their
difference.
own.
That's all, yeah, that has nothing to do with
No, it doesn't touch it.
Yeah, these are mainly, I mean, these rates are for insurance companies related.
But also having private pay insurance, and you know how much they were willing to pay. Because just because you set a rate doesn't mean that insurance companies are gonna pay that. And I also had that data because of my own personal thing, knowing what they would pay.
So part of the deal is that the insurance companies, we believe, were willing to pay more than we were asking for.
Yes.
And so we're
Yes.
trying to get up to about what we think they might pay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, while staying within reasonable rates.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just want to add to my motion that the rates become effective at the beginning of the next pay cycle period, so that it doesn't happen in the middle of anything for the clerk's office, okay?
Starting in November?
Okay, yeah, that'll be whenever we send this paper in to the billing company, yeah.
will that be problematic if we start them on the
Well, no,
first of October?
there's an effective date on the form, so we can
So when do you want it to be?
assign whatever date you guys
How
want.
about the 1st of September?
Backdated?
So probably the billing company has a cycle for billings that they do, and I think Laura's point is, whenever their next billing cycle is,
That's when
that
they,
should be the start of it.
right.
1st of October is fine with me.
Or you, I mean, Rod, do you guys do you process a lot of the paper?
We send it all out to the other company.
Right.
That's-
So maybe, Laura, maybe the motion should just say to be effective as soon as MedX can implement it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, as soon as MedX can implement it, I'll
okay.
amend my motion.
We'll send this up to them tomorrow.
Yeah, they do all the billing and paperwork and stuff like that. Just send us the money.
They know what's coming anyway, I've talked to them that, so it's not like.
Well, yeah, we got the comparison list.
Yeah,
from them,
so it's not a surprise.
And they said it was a good thing to do each year anyway, just to
Yes.
make sure you're still in line.
We had talked, when we did this before, we said we were gonna look at this in a year, so we should continue to look at this at least in a year, or whenever feel that it's appropriate.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any more, we're talking on that? So we'll vote on the rates. Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes. We'll get one of those papers filled in. Official light. I can give you this one.
Yeah.
Kind of check this spreadsheet.
Thanks for doing that, Robin and Fran.
Next on the agenda, approval of the First Amendment to Assumption Agreement.
That's freedom of speech and religion and what?
This is the Delta agreement with, for the new municipal facility.
Building next door.
Yeah, their, Gozer has spent about 9.5 months identifying a less than $800 discrepancy in their records with what was paid to Delta versus what Delta had received. And it all
$795.
came down to the village authorizing the agreement in December, and Gozer then paying some money, this $800 to Delta sometime after December, and it's just getting caught up in that. So anyway, they've asked that we amend this agreement to reflect this $800 discrepancy on their part. That's all it is. Took us about 9 months to get there. So
A lot of $100 a month.
that's Gozer for you.
This can't be time to do this, we must take more time.
We'll probably take another couple.
Think about it in a couple of weeks, Rusty.
Yeah.
We've been trying for 2.5 years. Lord.
To the hills we're never gonna build.
Do we have an agreement?
Yeah, I sent it to you, you looked at it. It's
Okay.
literally as simple as the dollar amount has changed
Right.
by $800. Everything else is the exact same from the December assumption agreement.
We need a motion for this.
Yes.
So
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? The good news is the project is moving. again.
When are they gonna break ground?
I like this.
The hopeful schedule is that we will send it out to bid in November. So the plans actually are done. It's getting all these agreements and money straightened out, and we can send it out to bid. Rusty?
Mr. Mayor, I like the Freudian slip as you start to say, the good news is the building is moving again.
So the building actually not moving, it's moving.
But Fran, to your point, I think construction is expected to start.
Spring, yes. That's the plan, we'll see how it all goes. All right, so let's vote on that. Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes.
The next thing is treasurer's report.
All right.
Everybody's got copies of that.
The bond resolution on that?
Well, I was gonna mention it. First of all, we had a bond closing for the sewage treatment plant.
Michael.
That was on,
That's what I'm going.
last Thursday. And we had the closing, and it was $950,000. And it went into the sewage treatment plant, what do you call it?
That's for the UV project.
Yeah, for the UV project. So we took care of all that. We signed all these things, all the things. We signed all the copies. We sent there's a bank out of Catskill that was the main receiver. The other stuff went to our bond council into New York City. So the closing is done. We have the money, and we just have to pay that. It was the rate was good.
Yeah, hopefully that project should be more or less paid for by grant.
It's page 10 of the EMS.
As usual, the treasurer's report.
I did. So there was one hiccup that I talked to Rodney about. Jeff's budget, DPW showed $37,000 already in building repairs, which we believe is the roof at 90 Temple Street.
That was a carryover from the last year carryover.
Right.
For the,
Yeah.
So we'll kind of reimburse him.
So his numbers are kind of out of whack for that.
Because it took 2 years to get
Right.
done. So he'll be back. That'll come up in his budget.
We'll get straight around here. Other than that, yes, looking good. We already got, we already collected over $2 million in revenue.
We're
taxes.
2 million, 20, we had almost 2.2 million out of 24 million.
Almost 70%.
Will we be getting more when you send out our amended village tax?
Well, yeah, we'll definitely get more because people will just keep sending money.
Not the school.
But actually, everybody
I want to have this meeting somewhere else, so.
they did a
Unless
great,
they're showing up.
they did a great job. Everybody did a nice job. Like if people had to come in, they waited their turn. We had a lot in the mail, of course, this year, and everything went fairly smooth.
Move to accept the treasurer's report.
My second.
Okay, any other chat on that? Good news is, EMS wise, we're doing pretty good so far this year. That's a good thing. Fran?
Yes.
Charles? Yes. Justin?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes. All right, so next let's do the bond, let's do this bond resolution for this thing. Nate prepared.
Yes.
That's the mega.
I can send it.
The bond resolution is very similar to our borrowing resolutions that we've done in the past. It authorizes the bonding for the purchase price of the ambulance that VCI has proposed. Because the bonding would be less than 5 years, it's not subject to proof of referendum. Straightforward. I sent a copy to the clerk's office. Mike's got it on his computer. It contains very standard bond language that we use for most of these purchases. So if the board entertain a motion to, or a motion to approve the bond resolution as presented.
It says, it's a maximum of $140,000, like Nate said, not to exceed 5 years.
Does a few other things, but, yeah.
Well, we have to do
So-
13,000 deposit, right?
So this is the bonding authorization.
Okay.
This is not the purchase authorization yet.
All right.
So this is just another step we have, this isn't the final step.
Yeah, you need to authorize the bonding before you authorize the purchase. The next motion would be to authorize the purchase.
Right. And we did investigate bonds.
We have contacted our local banks, we're getting estimates that come in to us as we speak. But first we have to do this before we can even do that, right? First we have to do the bond.
Yeah, you have to do the bond resolution before you authorize the purchase.
And this says, I think when I was telling the bank 138,000, you heard somebody just said 140.
Yeah, well, kind of like with Rusty's idea, include a little cushion just for unexpected
And there was
things.
that $5,000 cushion Crowley thing that was in there too.
Up to 140, okay, that'll make a difference for right now.
Yeah.
Now, if I have legitimate offers by next meeting, should I bring those and you want to vote on those?
So the bond resolution designates, it doesn't set a maximum interest rate and doesn't set a maximum term of years. It delegates the ability to decide on the form and the contents of the bond notes themselves to Rod as the village clerk treasurer. So I mean, as long as you folks are all comfortable purchasing without knowing exactly what the interest rate will be, then Rod can just tell you at the next meeting when he's done, as opposed to asking the board to specifically pick a bank or anything like that.
I would expect at the next meeting I'll have a minimum of one up to 4 offers, if that's what you want.
Yeah, none of that would stop you from authorizing the purchase
Yeah.
tonight. You authorize the financing, you can authorize the purchase, Rod can go out and find the financing. You know, the vehicle's not gonna be delivered for a while anyway. BCI isn't expected to be paid immediately. They would like the 13,000 down, and so you've got however much time until the thing actually is delivered before you have to pay the rest of it.
8-9 months.
Right.
There's plenty of time to figure the financing out.
Yep.
But you do have to kind of commit to agreeing to finance this
Figuring
thing.
out the financing.
Right. It's gonna be, you are gonna be doing probably the full 5 years, and as folks have kind of, done back in the envelope math, divide whatever the remaining balance is after the 13,000 down payment by 5.
What would we say? Because we do have one quote, and the interest rate is pretty low. But we have stuff out to more banks, so, but the payment's gonna be what, about 30?
Less than 30,000.
Yeah, so you're looking roughly 30,000 a year.
That's what you had figured.
Actually, with what we're bringing in, we should have it paid off in 2 years.
Well, there's actually a line item in their budget, starting this year. We called it large vehicle purchase, we happened to put $30,000 into, so. I mean, obviously, the revenue pays for your budget, but assuming it all comes in, it's.
So let's make a motion to accept the bond.
It's to
That's the
authorize the bonding.
This would be to authorize the
Authorize the
bonding.
Okay, authorize the bond.
It's this resolution here.
Yeah, motion to approve the bond resolution as presented.
Okay, let's do that.
I'll second
I
that.
motion
wanna see
to
it?
approve the bond resolution for purchase for the EMT ambulance as presented.
I'll second that.
She sent it to everybody, well, I'm surprised she didn't print it for the rest of you.
Can we do?
Well, they're probably seeing Rusty's here.
the,
Tracy's coming.
Authorization.
this is the end thing. This is the authorization to do the whole
Do
thing.
it, talk to you about stuff.
No,
Just to get the loan.
it's just to get going.
We start and make our final
Still, it's
decision.
right. It
Okay.
says it will take a loan.
Yeah, it just says, it authorizes you to do the thing, but it doesn't pick a vendor. You have, like, this just says generically, you can buy an ambulance for this amount of money and finance for it. It doesn't say anything about who you're buying it from. You have to have a second motion to authorize who you're gonna buy the thing from.
Specific.
This gives you the ability to now then go out and purchase. And then that's what this is, which would be the second motion.
By law, you have to have the funds or figure out how you're gonna have the funds before you buy something.
Okay.
So, what was the signal about?
Is that Laura's
Well, that's
stuff?
two
Yeah.
pages.
Stop parking on Rusty.
Affirmative vote, not less than 2/3 of the total voting strength of the board of trustees, so the funds that.
So it has to have a 2/3 majority.
Which is just a simple majority vote. That's 3 out of 5. Or, well, excuse me, I guess 2/3 is a little different for 7 people.
True.
All right, it's a weird thing under the local finance law.
So, do we have to have 2/3 of 7? I don't know, it says it there.
Yeah, no, you do, yeah.
So that means we have to,
Have to have 4 votes.
Right.
that is not 2/3.
Yeah, whatever 2/3 is, 7. Might be 5 or 6.
There's only 7 altogether.
People.
It'd be 5 people.
Yeah, that's 70%.
Yeah.
1.5 equals, isn't it?
4.62.
Okay, so we do have a